I had mentioned before about Arizona State having this 42-person Mellophone section, and today we have the pleasure of having on the air with us. Why don't you come on down? One of the great staff members here at Arizona State, and this is Brandon Houghtalen. Welcome here.
Thank you.
And Brandon is the teacher of the Mellophone section. He's teaching assistant here with the band, and also you're getting, I believe, a doctorate in wind conducting, right? At Arizona State. So you're an indoor and an outdoor band person, huh? You do both.
I don't know any other way to be.
That's cool. Where are you from, Brandon?
I grew up in East Tennessee in a small town right outside Knoxville called Maryville.
Maryville, yeah.
Right.
And there, so I remember that. We used to go to that little college there all the time. Barbecue, that's all I could think about. I got to get my mind off of that. And then where did you get your education?
My undergrad was from the University of Tennessee, and then I got my master's from University of Colorado.
Were you in the great University of Tennessee marching band program?
Pride of the Southland, absolutely.
That's it, you know. And then Gary Souza is he's like the mayor of Knoxville, the director of bands, isn't he? That's how big deal the band is there. That's awesome.
It really is. The bands, in the SEC are a major part of the football experience, and there's great pride in that.
That's one of the coolest things about having a nationally recognized music school is we draw people like you for your terminal degree. We get to use you in the Sun Devil Marching Band as a staff member. And it's awesome when you look at the resume of the people that you and I work with together to help teach this band for Jim Hudson. And you end up making lifelong friends like that. You're one of the great winners that's joined the staff, and it's always an accident. It always is. It's like when I ran the jazz bands here, the big bands at Arizona State, I never knew who was available until the school year started, because there are jazz majors, but there are also people in the saxophone studio who wouldn't ever think of not being in a jazz band. So they just show up, and they happen to come from a great school. Here you come in with a tradition of marching band in your life, and we know that Tennessee's band country on top of everything else, too. But, well, first of all, welcome here. But second of all, you're a really good horn player. Brandon, I'm a brass faculty member. And
Write that one down.
He's won a couple of competitions for horn chairs in our ensembles, and Brandon also is helping us now with the local community group that's been on banddirector.com, the Salt River Brass, and he's playing first horn over there now, and that's like an awesome thing that your leadership, musical teaching, and also a participating musician and other ensembles. So it's good to know you at all these different levels. But anyway, this is the big subject, which is 42 mellophone players. Yep. I used to dream about these things, but it actually has happened to us. We have that many. You're in charge of that. First of all, did you know that going in, that we were going to be this big?
No, like you said, I just kind of volunteered. I said I'd love to do anything that you can, have me do. And Jim said, "Well, we're going to be big." And I said, "Well, of course," but I didn't know this big. This is the largest group I've worked with. I've worked with high school marching bands. Gone and done clinics, and their whole band isn't 42 people.
Right.
So it's kind of a new thing to have that many.
And I told everybody the story of you asking the question of the Mellophone section. How many of you were the only mellophone in your marching band? Was it 13?
It was a lot. Yeah.
And that's an awesome thing that you'd be the lone mellophone and then walk into 42 people, and we stage them as a block of people the way other people would do the trumpet section. We have a massive group of people, but they cooperate. You've made them into a cohesive unit. And faced with 42 people, what were some of the rehearsal techniques that you used to knit them together?
Well, we sing a lot, and based on what everything else that the band does, there's a system that the band sounds great, doing. So I just kind of follow the system. We sing a lot, we bop a lot, we work on articulations, basically the same way that we all do, just to maintain consistent teaching style. And with the 42.
Yeah, go ahead. I just had battery failure. I could feel myself slowing down, and all of a sudden I got the signal that the battery died on the mic. So we're going to share this.
Yeah, sure.
Keep going.
With 42, maintaining a uniformity of sound is a lot easier when there's 3. So it's about blending in and not sticking out. And if you are sticking out when there's 42, boy, there's a problem. It's kind of easier to find a solution to that. So we're all on the same equipment, great equipment. We're all using the same embouchure setup. We're all breathing really well in the right way. So when you do so many things the same way, it's easier to create a uniform sound.
Got it. I think it's just amazing that I believe we always write in two parts, right, for our band. We have two, an upper and a lower section. Is that?
And to the show tonight, there's sometimes where there are 4 mellophone parts.
So divisi in both parts.
Right.
That's awesome, and yes, I do remember that. The most amazing thing is when you hear full fleshed out voicings and it's only our mellophone section.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to hearing that. I'm really impressed with the low register that we've developed here. It's usable. First of all, it's usable. Second of all, it's usable outdoors. It's making it to the top of the stands. That changes the way you write. We are a very, very big horn line, as you'll see tonight. But that means that we're cross-it voicing. So we have the color of mellophone goes all the way down into the baritone range.
Right.
And then we also have a large baritone, euphonium, and trombone section with bass trombones on the bottom, multiple bass trombones. So that's the coolest part, is the mellophones are trackable in the 2D mix with hundreds of horns. That changes everything. That's like a big band. That's like an orchestra. We're doing families talking to families, and the picture is complete. That, in terms of if we have 42 next year, that makes the imagination wander in terms of how we write. And what's available to us is more almost of a Hollywood film concept, where it's trumpet dominated and then it's horn dominated.
Right. You can balance, and you don't have to demand so much of a trumpet section if you've got a second option for a voice leading a melody.
Got it. We have a bit of a break here. If you see me leaning forward, I'm just watching the tunnel in which people come out. We're in the break right now between Division 3 and Division 2, so we have a chance to talk, if you have time, about a cross-training idea, which is, this is the time of year when you'll see us broadcasting marching band festivals and stuff like that. What's the takeaway from marching band going inside into the sit-down concert bands and the other competitive part of the season, which is serious concert band work toward a festival at the end of the school year?
Well, that's a great question, because they're really, I've never approached one activity different from the other. We still have to play our instruments. We still have to make great sounds. We still have to, practice our parts and play our instruments correctly, and posture is a big deal. So as much crossover as we can get, that's what we're after.
That's cool about posture. So you're taking the standing activity and changing it to the sitting activity and being careful that it's that posture.
And I've learned this from choir, singing in choir. A choir that practices standing up, and when they sit down, they're really, their upper bodies are the same as when they're standing.
Right.
And
right.
Singing in choir taught me that. Okay, we've got to not collapse our ribs. We've got to use our full, available air.
Well, there's cross-training right there. It's like here you are with a vocal background enough to know that this should be done when I play the horn. That's why it's so cool to go from outdoor to indoor, for instance, that cross-training. And here you are with singing, and then you brought the singing with you to your sectionals.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you? I'm sure you sing parts, but tell me more. What about the singing rehearsal technique?
Well, when we're learning a show, when we first get the music, the number one thing all the students want is, let's play the high stuff, let's play the loud stuff. I can't play this articulation, and if you can hear it, then you can play it. So before you try to play it, let's see if we can hear it first, and so let's sing, and really the truth comes out. You find out who's singing a third when it should be a fifth, who's singing an octave when it should be a sixth or something. So you work on just, let's all sing the same way. And with the music that we play, it's so familiar, it's really singable in the way that Jim writes the scoring. It's very singable. So, and
you can make a line out of an inner part, for instance, which helps
is the
them
point,
to go. Right. You can go linear from this pitch to that pitch to that pitch. So now I get why intonation keeps and security of the mellophones keeps increasing. And we know from teaching marching band that we have these things that we look for: the 2-week mark, the 4-week mark, the 6-week mark, which is where we are right now. And the amount of security is such that Jim Hudson can really stick his neck on and write for Mellophone in a 4-part way, in a
Right.
very athletic way. The whole thing comes to a head tonight with screaming Vince DeRosa type writing from
Right.
film, practically. The over-the-top moment is coming from the lead mellophones, and there's no stress of that at all. I keep watching to see if we're going to have any kind of facial color changes. Nothing, no stress to go up that high. So I think we should write higher for the next show.
Well, when there are 4 or 5 students that have easy double Fs in the mellow section.
There you go.
That with these great instruments, and they're playing on great equipment, and they're using their air efficiently. They're not using pressure to get it. It's just they're riding the air and they're just soaring up to the top. No, we don't write that high, but they try to suggest that we do.
Right.
But
Right.
it makes a high C really easy to do and effortless sounding. So then they can worry about, okay, am I matching? Is it flat? Am I playing in tune?
Right. We do. Your emphasis of ear is married to another big pedagogy we do here about breathing. We use the breathing gym. I'm co-author of that. Most people out there know that. But the idea of giving them the air and the ear, and then the technique, which we have a technique program to make sure everybody's a good player, then when those 3 things get together, that's when we win. They do so much with the percussion on that score that they're out there an extra hour every day to make sure that they get all those concepts, the basic ones, in place. But when the ear is confident and the air is there to back up what you're trying to say, then you get what we've got.
And then we go to groove school. If
Right.
the rhythm is
Right.
ever out of time, we just go to school.
Right.
And then they
Right.
feel comfortable with the time and all these things playing together. Then it's a lot of fun.
You clearly are an advocate of ownership of the band by the members of the band, and that's why we empower them the way we do. Because like athletics, they're going to be out in the field and we're not. And that's where the biggest ulcer problem is in teaching, is sitting on the sidelines
right.
and hoping that it all goes well,
Right.
right? But it's like you come to this with a basics program the way we have, we come to trust the outcome.
Right.
It's coming out the way we're at. So better for our health, better for our sleeping, all of that. Because of these investments that we make them early, but we keep them going all the time. And bravo to you for this incredible 42-person experience, and it's almost unique how big it is and how successful it is. So I personally can't wait to keep watching the rest of the season and what Turning Up the Middle could do. I was always a fan of the viola, and when it was used the best in orchestras. It sounds amazing when you turn the middle up. I like viola so much that I married 2 viola players in my life, and so as I celebrate my 30th anniversary with a viola player, that's the way we listen to music. Like, I never heard the middle. I'm a tuba player. I always heard the bottom first until I was trained by a viola wife. So congrats to you, Brandon Houghtalen, and you're in this wonderful career that's about to unfold. It's already been going on in your life, but it's you are armed and ready to go out and make a difference in this world. And while you're still here with us, I'm really happy about this. And you'll hear the result of this incredible work being done by Brandon Houghtalen when you hear the ASU marching band. Today, as we've got our props out on the field and we're moving our way through into Division II, Verrado High School is about to come out. And we'll tell you all about that in a minute. But while we still have you here for a minute, as a student, a terminal degree student, you're here at your doctorate. You've got a lot of experience under your belt before you ever got here. What is sharing ASU Band Day through the internet on banddirector.com? What does that mean to you?
Well, it's great because when I get to see all different levels of groups, and the progress they've made, and obviously, the groups that we heard from the very first show all the way through the end of tonight, there's a lot of really good things happening. And that's encouraging as a teacher to see, we're making a difference in a bunch of students' lives. All these high schools have really good commitment to what they're doing, and when they succeed, I think we all do. So it's nice as a teacher to see the activity continuing to be important in communities and connecting to people and helping students grow.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're one of those guys with a fantastic perspective on our field at a very young age. And my experience, and this is my 41st year of college teaching, my experience is that you're the visionaries, the ones that are thinking large picture early. And I look forward to what you come up with next.